Okay, so new Zwift racing with a new point system this is. So I'm in this 180 to 350, which is kind of like a mix of C's and B's. I'm kind of top, the C category, so for me, quite an easy race. I usually, I did one race before and I finished quite high, like 4th out of 55. So you see, before I used to struggle with these starts. My heart rate would just go really high, like 170, 180, and I would just struggle then to keep up because I'm just trying to recover right from the beginning. Now, like, I can kind of push quite hard at the beginning and keep up fine. Seemed like it was going to be quite a hard race to begin with. It seemed actually faster than the previous race I did. I'm here and like at threshold going into like VO2 max, just trying to stay at the front, but as you'll see soon, it just kind of slows right down and I'm kind of going back to zone 2. So you see here now, like, into just over 5 minutes into the race, and battery right off on the power, hardly needing any watts to really keep up in the pack. Normally, like in a Cat C, I'd be, really having to set over 200 watts really, even in the pack, like to just stay with the pack really on the flat. But I'm just kind of going right down quite low on the watts. It's not really having to push hard at all to keep up, but you'll see a bit later, obviously once you get to the hills, then you do have to start kind of putting out higher watts, and even in this category you have to push a little bit. But just remember, obviously, even at this division, it's a mix of Cat C's and Cat D's, and I would say like it feels like a combination of like Cat C and Cat D. It's like you've got these flats where it feels like a Cat D race, but when it gets to the hills, it feels kind of like you've got those Cat D's there that you can drop, but then you still got people that are probably in Cat C doing these races that you have to keep up with at the front. So it's quite a fun race really. So as at this point there was one guy, and I think it must have been one guy, kept kind of pushing to the front, and as you can see there's another one just kind of pushing ahead as well, trying to catch him up. And I didn't really realise this until it was too late. And of course you kind of have to know the courses as well, where you can kind of push maybe before a climb, because sometimes there's not much point pushing if you start to go downhill and then the pack kind of catches you up. So I could have easily pushed here, like no problem. I could have pushed with these two people at the front, because I was there doing about probably like 170 watts, 180. I could have easily gone threshold and just got ahead of the pack, I think, but I'm just worried that we suddenly hit a downhill that I wasn't expecting, and they would just catch me back up, and I've just kind of wasted a load of energy and everything for no reason. But you can see like there's this, I think two guys off the front at the moment just pushing ahead, I think getting like a 10-second gap, and you'll see later like I get to a hill and I try and get ahead of the pack, trying to catch these two at the front. So it's the first proper big hill here, and I'm thinking maybe based off the last race, maybe I can kind of push and get ahead of the pack now. Usually I push like quite hard going up the hill, but this looked like one of these hills that just goes on forever, and I'm thinking like, if I can sit at the top of my VO2 max kind of range at if I can hold that, I'm pretty sure I can get ahead of most of these people. And even if there's like just a couple of people stay with me, if I can kind of, you know, split the group here and can kind of get ahead a bit and, you know, just start trying to maybe catch these guys at the front, because there's these two people that just seem quite far ahead that, you know, we didn't want to get too far behind on. So I'm just trying to hold about 270, 280 watts. You know, it's quite hard work, but I just feel like if I can just pull away from these people enough, and, you know, as long as the group splits enough that they don't have a pack that can kind of hunt me down after, you know, I'm good. So I'm just pushing here. Guy just kind of goes by me really quick. I have a feeling the guy that's just gone by me, yeah, I have a feeling that guy ends up in first, you know, at the front of the group later on. So yeah, he's really gone for it up this hill. I'm just trying to like hold my watts and just try and like keep up with some of these guys and maybe form a small group and just get away at this point. My heart rate's like fairly high, but I have a fairly high max heart rate anyway of like, I think something like 196, so still like, you know, pushing quite hard for me anyway. I'm just trying to hold these watts, knowing I can kind of hold this for like quite a long time, like 3 to 5 minutes. It's hard work, but I know like I don't want to go any harder than this, because I'm just going to end up getting like 3/4 away and having to drop my watts and fall right back. So just trying to pace myself, I guess, and just not get too far behind. So yeah, I've got these two people you see, both 10 seconds ahead at the moment. You can see the people kind of like spreading out a little bit here. They're just certain people struggling here. As I say, there's like a lot of Cat Ds probably in this race that are just not gonna really be able to keep up. Just trying to hold like the watts as I get to the top of the hill. Just really trying to get that distance between me and the rest of the group, so even if they get a bit of speed coming downhill, hopefully I can just stay ahead of them here. But it's difficult. It's difficult in Zwift to kind of maintain that gap when you've got any downhill, especially being like a light rider. I can get up the hill fast, but you know, the heavy riders, obviously they move fast coming back down the hill. They've got that advantage coming down the hill, so it's hard for me to keep that gap when we go back to any downhill. But you know, even here you can see it's just like a small downhill gradient, but there's still got two guys right here with me. 7-second gap between us and the people behind now, so not too bad. I kind of just want to really, like, at this point I was thinking if me and these two guys can really push, maybe we can catch these two at the front. That was the plan anyway. So I don't know what happened, but I think, you know, we weren't going slow or anything. We were kind of pushing a little bit, but it seems like some of the guys maybe kind of grouped up a little bit and they push hard and they seem to eventually just catch us, even though it's mainly flat, which is maybe a mistake there. But I kind of thought at this point it's good because we have a bit of a group now, so maybe we can really, you know, kind of pick up the speed and stuff. Maybe if we got any downhills, we can maybe catch these guys up at the front that have got a lead on us. You know, we're starting to get an advantage now with the draft and stuff. Maybe we can just do it and catch. But the problem is sometimes you get in these groups and then everybody just slows right down, and you know, you see like my watts are dropping again, just keep coming under 200 watts. This is a problem, and then I'm thinking like, do I push here and try and get ahead? But then I think it's hard to push when you're on the flat and downhills. I'm just not gonna really be able to get ahead of this group until we find a nice hill really. But I really wanted to, at this point, just really push and try and catch these people that are far ahead of us. I mean, they're only like 8 seconds at this point, so there's a possibility to catch up if we really went for it, but it's difficult. You need to work as a team at this point. So this was a final climb. I don't know these courses, so it's really difficult to know when to push, when to use your power-ups and everything. I didn't seem to get many power-ups. I think there was only one power-up or something earlier in the game and in the race. But you see this one guy, M. Brands, has just like started to push here and really get ahead. Maybe I should have pushed a little bit more here, but putting out okay watts here, and I realise it's probably going to be quite a long hill again, so I don't want to really go really hard and then just not be able to go any more and just get caught up and overtaken. So I was trying to again just set at my VO2 max and just keep knowing I can push this for like 3, 4, 5 minutes, just hoping these other guys would just push too hard and then just completely wear themselves out. I'm thinking if these guys are mainly Cat D riders, they're probably pushing really hard, not maybe thinking that this is a long hill and they probably can't hold this power as long as I can. So that was my plan, is just hold this power. Even if they can hold on to me for a little bit, they're just eventually going to get dropped. So I'm just trying to hold this power, and then as soon as I see a bit where it's a little bit flat, I'm dropping my power, trying to recover a little bit, and then pushing again hard. But I don't know, this guy ahead, he's just really going for it now. I mean, maybe I could put out a little bit more power here, but I'm just thinking it's such a long climb. I just don't want to tire myself out. I just want to sit in that nice zone where it's really hard work, but I'm not killing myself, and I know I can maintain it, and I can just stay ahead, and I can just keep checking, see how far they are behind, and just try and slowly create a bit of a gap between us. And I'm just watching those seconds all the time to see if I'm getting ahead. And I can see now I'm like 5 seconds ahead, 5, 6 seconds ahead of the people behind, and I'm just slowly I start to create a gap, but the guy in front, he's just getting further and further ahead. The guy that made that break earlier at the front, he's just so far ahead at this point. He's just been pushing hard. He's been pushing hard the whole time, just not letting off. I don't think he's I don't know what his heart rate is. I have a feeling at the end of the race it said he had 0. He had no heart rate monitor, so no idea. He could be in the wrong category here, and I've seen that with these new categories, people that are way too good for their category they're in, and they're just easily winning races. So to me it kind of looks like it in the case of this guy. He's no heart rate monitor, so I just have a feeling he's probably way above this category. He's even though his sort of watts per kilogram weren't higher than a C or anything, it just seems easy for him to make a big break. And you see this guy's got a few seconds on me, but I made quite a big gap now on the guys behind. I gone from 5 to 6 seconds to 13 seconds ahead. I'm just trying at this point to see if I can catch a guy in front, but my main goal was just get away from the pack behind me so I can get a nice finish. 4th would be nice at this point. But I'm just thinking, can I maybe push and catch a guy in front? The other two, they're just too far ahead at this point though. So I've been pushing kind of threshold, just trying to keep ahead of the group and potentially catch this guy ahead, but he's kind of kept his distance. He's gained like a second, and just a bit of a sprint at the end, a bit of power out, and you finish in fourth, which I'm happy with. I've got some points and not like a highest output for me, but it's a slow race to begin with, and then some hills at the end, so yeah, it's good fun.